Hey guys, Stephanie here with another movie chatter video, and what I have for you today is a quick review on the movie Game Night. Now, I wanted to just preface my review segment by letting you guys know that when I'm picking a movie to go see in the theaters, comedy is not necessarily my genre of choice. It's not that I don't like humor, it's not that I don't like comedy, it's just that I feel like any comedies I've seen over the last few years tended to stray away from just that organically funny, smart writing that I love, and they've ended up kind of coming across as silly or outrageous, and they really push the lines of believability. And that's really my only issue, with modern comedies. But two things happened that made me ditch my preconceived notion of modern comedies and take a chance and go see Game Night. The first thing was that this movie's been out for about a month, so I've had an opportunity to see a lot of online and moviegoer reviews, and people have been really, really happy with their experience with this movie. They've said that they enjoyed the plot, they enjoyed the writing, they enjoyed the jokes, the storyline, the chemistry between the actors. They said everything worked, and a lot of people said that they laughed more in this movie than they had in anything that they'd seen in recent times. The other thing that I noticed is that a lot of people said they enjoyed this movie a lot more than they thought they would. So that's what really first put this on my radar. And the second thing is that one of the lead characters is played by Jason Bateman. Now, I happen to think that Jason Bateman is brilliant when it comes to his style of comedic delivery. He has such an understated, calm, natural way of delivering comedy that just works. He's never up in your face, acting outrageous, look at me, I'm working hard to try and make you laugh, but he makes me laugh every time. And even when I've seen him in movies that maybe I wasn't crazy about, I've always enjoyed and appreciated his performances. So those two things right there made me confident in feeling like, you know what, I'm fine taking a chance and going to see Game Night. And I'm really happy that I did. Now, the movie's brought to you by the same guys who did Spider-Man Homecoming and Horrible Bosses 1 and 2. So if you mush those movies together and you throw in Date Night, you kind of have the pace of the movie and you kind of know what you're getting into. It was written by Mark Perez, who happens to have written a brilliant screenplay. The writing is very smart, the jokes are funny, they're on point, they make a lot of film and pop culture references, the plot is good. Everything about his writing and his screenplay is really, really good and really smart. So I appreciated that. Between the directing and the screenplay, it was a good deal. Now, I'm going to give you a little bit of a synopsis of the movie without going into too much, because I think this is one of those movies that even the trailer gives away a little more than I would probably want to know, so I don't want to risk any spoilers or messing up anyone's movie-going experience. So we start out, we meet our two main characters, Max, who's played by Jason Bateman, and Annie, who's played by Rachel McAdams. And they meet in a bar, and of course, it's Game Night. And they find out that they're both super competitive, and they're also super compatible. So they end up dating, and we see that, and we see their marriage, and we fast forward a few years where they're now married, and they own a home, and guess what? They host Game Night. And they have a group of friends that comes over, and they're all really competitive. They're all really into this Game Night, so much to the point that they don't even want to drink alcohol because no one wants to take the chance that they're too foggy to get the right answers and they risk losing at Game Night. So it's really neat the way that the whole Game Night thing works. And who wouldn't want to have a game night like that where everybody's more into the games than getting wasted? It's awesome. Now, we also find out that Max has a brother, an older brother, who he's really competitive with, and he also hasn't seen in a year. Big brother's coming into town. Everybody's excited because they think he's the man. He's really successful. He lives and works in Europe. He makes a lot of money. Okay, so he shows up. He shows up late. He disturbs Game Night. And he announces that his little visit is an open-ended extended stay, so much to the point that he's rented a very large home around the corner. And he now attempts to hijack Game Night. He announces that he wants to host the next Game Night, which has always been Max and Annie's thing. They always host Game Night. But because he's visiting, they reluctantly relinquish their hosting title and they pass the baton to him and say, you know what, you can host the next one. We get to Big Brother's house and he announces that, we're not doing board games. he's hired an acting company to come in and do like a murder mystery type of thing, except it's not going to be a murder. No one's going to get killed, but someone is going to be kidnapped. And the couple who finds the kidnapped person by the end of the night, whoever finds him first, wins the keys to Big Brother's Corvette, which also happens to be Max's dream car. So that's all I'm going to tell you, and at that point we're off and running, and anything else that I would tell you would just spoil the movie experience. So what I really liked is that this movie just moves along at a really good pace. It's fast, it just keeps going, and that goes for the writing as well. The writing is really smart, and the jokes just keep firing and firing and firing. And it's so much that if you blink, you're going to miss something. And like I said, there's a lot of pop culture and film references, and they're very smart, and they're woven in such a way that they just work, and they make the storyline work. And Rachel McAdams and Jason Bateman have such great on-screen chemistry. Their timing is great, they're likable as a couple, they're believable as a couple, and they have a very similar style. So that was a really good match to put them together. We don't know a lot about the rest of the characters. As a group they worked, but we don't know much about them, so when they kind of scatter apart on the scavenger hunt, it's a little superficial. We don't know much about the other people. So I really like them together more than separate, but they come back together. And one of the things that I started to have a problem with is that it started to feel a little bit predictable. I guessed a few things, I figured out a few things, and I was like, all right, here we go. This is why I don't like comedies. And then boom, plot twist that I never saw coming. And it happened more than once. There were a few plot twists that I never saw coming, and that's where that writing comes in, and that's where that smart writing comes in, and it really, really worked, and you never saw it coming. So I really do appreciate that, and I think it was really well done. Another thing that I wasn't real crazy about was there's one scene in particular where there's a big plot reveal, and it's really exciting because something really cool just happened, but we're not really sure how we all got back into the same place. We're not sure how we got from point A to point B, and it's a little convoluted. But I'm just probably nitpicking, because if you're enjoying the pace of the movie and the plot and the dialogue and what's going on, you're probably not even going to notice. But that's me, I'm nitpicky, and that's really my big beef with this movie. That was it. Other than that, I would say it was a good time, it was a fun time, there were a lot of laughs, the writing is smart, the directing is on point, and I really think it's a movie that's going to appeal to a really broad audience. Like if you're one of those couples where you feel like every time it's a trade-off, I'm seeing your movie, you're seeing mine, you're not going to have that problem with this movie, because I don't think anyone's going to walk out of this movie and say that they didn't really have a good time. So I would say yes, I am recommending a comedy. I am recommending that people see Game Night. If you get a chance to see it while it's still in the theaters, check it out. If not, maybe you can catch it at a second-run theater if you have one of those by your house. And if not, definitely when it comes out on DVD, Blu-ray, or rental, pick it up and check it out. It's a fun time. It's a good watch. And that's my review of Game Night. So thank you guys so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, because that really does help me out. And when you see my face pop up right here, that's the subscribe button. So if you ever wanted to like smush me in the face or hit me in the face, now's the time to do it. And I am going to upload again real soon, and I will see you guys again. That's a wrap.